What's new on Grab It TV? Absolutely everything. We've got daily news shows, sports, weather, comedy, inspirational shows, fast cars, and a whole lot more. If you aren't watching Grab It TV, you're really missing out. It's free for you and free from censorship. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to week number 18, the last week of the regular season here at World of Matchups. My name is Dexter Reed, and I am your host this week and every week, breaking down every single matchup in the National Football League. We're coming to you live and direct from the Grab It television studios in sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. To my right, I have our super producer, Mr. Spencer the Wiz. Spencer, say what's up to everybody, man.
Really is incredible. We've been doing this for 18 weeks. It doesn't really feel like it, but we're at the last week of the NFL season. It doesn't even feel possible.
I know. I'm pretty stoked about it, honestly.
Yeah, the playoffs. I mean, it's prime time. There's nothing like football. Nothing.
It's time to see the cream rise to the top. That being said, folks, as always, there is tons of stuff that's happening during our calendar week in the National Football League. And we're going to start by bringing to you what is happening with the quick hitters. First things first, everyone's seen this. Everyone knows about this. We have to lead with this. Clowntonio Brown, Mr. Antonio Brown, wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, basically loses his mind on the sidelines in probably the hottest media place in the whole United States. New York, in the middle of the Jet game, refuses to go back in the game, loses his shirt. You know, Mike Evans is a G for trying to talk him off the ledge, goes to the end zone, starts jumping around, throws his stuff into the stands, and exits. Now, I don't even know where to start with this.
Actually, the one thing I didn't notice until I just watched this now was that Mike Evans actually did give him, tried to reach out to him for half a second. I think that's actually kind of cool.
Mike Evans is a G.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that he must have said something so egregious because Mike Evans walked away. He was like, I'm not dealing with this anymore.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like you want to be a good teammate. We really need you for the playoffs. Chris Godwin is gone. You know what I mean? Don't go out like this. But it basically comes down to this. There's what he told Coach, there's what Coach told him, and then there's the truth. These guys have been going back and forth, shots on Twitter and the media, saying this, saying that. I don't know. Mr. Unbothered is Antonio Brown. I mean, the very next day, the guy was sitting courtside at the net game. Okay? Now, we have a clip that I want to show you guys from about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago when Vontaze Burfict laid Antonio Brown out. I think a lot of people forget about this. Now, this is the type of hit that can end a man's career, and Burfict should have been thrown out of the league for this hit. Let's make no mistake about that. Now, he got a costly suspension and a huge fine, but he should have been thrown out of the league for this. This hit could have killed Antonio Brown. And if you look at Antonio Brown's timeline for when all his crazy behavior started and him acting up and getting signed with the Patriots and then going to the Raiders and then just getting released, and it all started around this time. I mean, he was never a model of consistency and integrity. I mean, he's an awful human being. But it started around now. CTE is real. I think there is some undiagnosed mental illness that has happened with this guy, but it's gone undetected and undiagnosed because he's a hell of a football player, and all anybody ever really wanted out of him is for him to play football and score touchdowns. And I don't think we'll ever see a 6-year stretch of the type of numbers that Antonio Brown put up in the NFL ever again. Now, I have a hard time believing his side of the story.
It's hard to at this point. I mean, what kind of credibility does he still have?
He has none. He had none going into the game. And granted, if he is hurt, he's jumping around in the end zone.
He looked all right to me.
Walking all over the place, waiting for an Uber at the net game. Now, I'm not saying that Tampa Bay's hands are clean here, okay? But let's show the incentives this guy had to play. There was a lot of money at stake for this guy. Playing gets this guy money. Why wouldn't anybody want to play? and there's an extra game this week, he would have hit these incentives. So there's that part of it that makes me think that maybe he really is hurt. But again, there's he said, there's she said, and then there's the truth. Either way, it's a black cloud over Tampa Bay. It's a huge loss because they're injured all over the place. Honestly, at this point, I cannot see Tampa Bay going back to the Super Bowl. These off-the-field distractions, they're going to hang over the head of this franchise. And this stuff translates onto the field. It's really just that simple. And I think Tom Brady's got to hold the L here too, because Tom Brady vouched for this guy. Tom Brady brought this guy into his house. Tom Brady doesn't – I know Tom Brady is a winner, but I'm not so sure that Tom Brady really cares about anything but winning. And he will use anything to his advantage to win, including bringing in a POS human being like Antonio Brown. And so he needs to hold this L. On his show this week, he was saying all the right things and tiptoeing around it and dancing around it. And, we really care about Antonio, and we hope he gets the help he gets. And you know what I mean? And then Tampa Bay, before they released him finally yesterday, because they wanted to take a couple days to make sure that they got all the T's crossed and the I's dotted legally so they didn't get screwed, and they finally released him. They're saying, we hope you get help, Antonio. Look, the NFL is nothing but a bunch of hypocrisy. They don't care about this guy. They're going to say they care about this guy, but they don't. They want to win Super Bowls. He wants money. He wants to look good. It's an absolute nightmare. I wish Antonio Brown well. Honestly, there's a really big part of me that feels bad for the guy, even though he's just a garbage human being, because I really think that mental illness and CTE are at play here, and I don't think anyone cares. I know the NFL certainly doesn't care. They'll say they care, but they really don't, and it's sad. I cannot see this guy getting picked up by another team, and I think his career is over. Your thoughts, Spencer?
Oh, well, I couldn't agree more that his career is over.
Career's over.
It's sad. And he is like a pretty bad human being, it seems like, most of the time, but I do hope he gets help. I mean, I don't really wish ill on anybody.
But
he's got to want it help. He's got to want help too. So a lot of the times it doesn't seem like he wants that. So hopefully he'll come to the realization that, everywhere he goes where there's drama, like, it's probably his fault most of the time.
Guys burn bridges everywhere he's gone. And you want to talk about an unbothered individual. The guy's dropping music videos like minutes after being released. He's on every social media outlet. I mean, the guy's clearly not there. Can we address, finally, once and for all, player safety like you say you are? Mr. Goodell, if you're listening, I'm talking to you. Next. Let's just go from one POS to another POS. Nate Hobbs arrested for DUI hours after winning and returning home from Indianapolis on Monday morning. Okay? Police say he was sleeping inside a parked car on the exit ramp of a parking garage here in Las Vegas.
How do you do that? How do you do that? What the hell is going on?
Now, in case some of you have been living under a rock, Henry Ruggs, arrested, DUI, resulted in a death. Oh, yeah, who does he play for, Spencer? He plays for the Raiders, right? Oh, yeah, teammate, right? In case any of you have forgotten, because I haven't forgotten. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Josh Jacobs, DUI, last year, swept under the rug. Oh, yeah, who does he play for? Oh, yeah, that's right. He plays for the Raiders, too. Oh, wow. Look, I have zero sympathy. Zero. I have less than zero sympathy for anyone that drives drunk. And you're talking to somebody who knows from experience. My hands aren't clean of this either. You know what I mean? It's part of why I'm clean today. Look, what is wrong with these guys? Who's advocating for these guys? You can have a limo service pick you up. You can have an Uber drive you anywhere you want, anywhere in the city. You just won a game you weren't supposed to win versus a very, very good team, which is giving you an opportunity to go to the playoffs, and you come home and you find yourself asleep in a parked car. Now, for everyone wondering, you can be arrested for DUI in Nevada anytime you're drunk or intoxicated in actual physical control of your vehicle. If you're asleep in a parked car with the keys in the ignition, you can definitely get a DUI. And you know what the worst part is about this? You know what the part that sticks in my craw? Coach Rich Biaggi is going to play this guy on Sunday night.
How do you do that? How do you do that? What the hell is going on?
You want to talk about Raiders, you're going to Raider? You want to talk about an organization has a lack of integrity? That guy should be suspended. Come on. What kind of precedents are we setting? And you said it a couple weeks ago, Spencer. It all started with Dalvin Cook. You're on tape drunk, and you don't even get a slap on the wrist. There is absolutely no accountability anywhere in the National Football League. It is an absolute joke, and I wish the Raiders would get it together. Shout out Darren Waller. Shout out Mad Max Crosby, because those guys realized that their careers were going down the toilet, and they got clean, and they're still clean. Why can't you guys take hints from good guys on your team? And I'm not saying you got to go out and get sober, but how about you use the brains that God gave you to not do things that could put your careers in jeopardy or kill other people? Rant over.
The one thing I wanted to say is, when the Vegas Golden Knights came here, the whole storyline was it's Vegas, so, this kind of stuff could happen. But the way that I see it, though, is the Golden Knights didn't have this issue where guys couldn't control themselves around the city of Vegas, So it's not like a Vegas thing.
It's not Vegas.
It's these guys. They
There's
have
alcohol in the North Pole.
Yeah, there's no consequences for their actions, and they're going to keep doing it.
They're going to keep doing it. It's not Las Vegas. That's a
been
great
cut.
analogy.
They'd have to be banned from the NFL.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Come on, man. You do it once, you get fined, you get a suspension. After that, you got to go. The NFL, I'm going to go on a mini rant here. They have these hats that you're seeing on the sidelines that some of the quarterbacks are wearing, and it says on some of the hats, it'll be the logo of the team, and they'll say unity, freedom, you know what I mean? I forgot what some of the other ones are, and the NFL is just trying to make itself look good by doing that because the NFL doesn't care about any of that. They don't care about any of that. They don't care about their players. They don't care. They don't care if you get COVID. They don't care if you play sick. The NFL cares about money. Their image is an absolute joke, and if you know anything about the NFL, you know that Roger Goodell is crooked, and these things are allowed to happen. It's in shambles how bad the image is of the National Football League when stuff like this is allowed to happen and go unpunished. It's a joke. Next, the Washington football team will unveil their new name on February 2nd. Now, Boomer of Boomer and Carden, former NFL quarterback Boomer Esiason, says that there has been a leak, and the name of the Washington football team will be the Admirals. Now, I'm not so sure I believe that. I never believe the hype. I'm trying not to fall for the okie doke. I think they're trying to lead people down a rabbit hole potentially. I think that the name is not going to be that. I think they're trying to get people talking. You know what I mean? They're trying to get people's attention, and I think on the 2nd of February, you are going to see the Washington football team name something else. I personally like the Generals, but I really would love to see them named the Washington Brigade. I think that would be fantastic. I think that would be such a dope name. What do you think it's going to be?
I just hope it's not the Admirals, honestly.
I really hope it's not.
The name's just kind of so bland.
Yeah, it's like the Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah.
The freaking Indians got it so wrong, and I'm not about changing all these
Washington-based,
names. I mean, I'm not an insensitive person, so I get why they're doing it. But come on, man. You guys better come correct in Washington, because if it's worse than for Washington football team, well, I'm just going to call you the Washington football team from now on. Next. Darren Waller may play on Sunday Night Football versus the Chargers in a win-and-get-in playoff game. Look, they're going to roll him out there in a wheelchair. Don't think he's not playing. I'm telling you right now, that guy is going to have his knee amputated down for him to not be out there. I mean, they are going to do – the Raiders 3 weeks ago would have never thought about even the potential of going to the playoffs, okay? They are going to go out there and they're going to get everybody. They're going to suit up Marcus Allen for this game like everyone is playing, okay? They're going to go find John Gruden, and they're going to have him in a back tunnel somewhere with a headset on. He is playing. Win and get in for the Raiders. Next, the Packers, the Bucs, the Cowboys, even the Chiefs, they all plan on playing to win and not rest their starters this weekend. A lot is happening with the seeding. There's a lot going on with should we rest our guys. There's a lot happening. This guy can get in. These guys cannot get in. This guy's got COVID. This guy is hurt. These teams are going for it. They are not going to rest their starters. They are balls to the wall, and they are going for it all. Next, Michael Gallup suffered a clean ACL tear on Sunday, and he's done for the year. Sucks. I like Michael Gallup, just like Chris Godwin. Franchise year, was about to get paid. Now, 1-year prove-it deal at best. I think that he may get a hometown discount from Dallas and bring him back. But in any which way, that you cut it. It's an awful, awful injury. Amari Cooper said that he suffered the injury before even going up and getting the ball. And he had the wherewithal to just gut it out, make the catch, score, and then be hurt. That in and of itself to me sounds like we'll give this guy another year. Next, Coach David Culley expected to be retained by Houston. I think he's done pretty good, all things considered. He hasn't had much to work with. I mean, Davis Mills, Brandon Cooks, a trio of running backs that haven't done anything. 2 of them now gone. I don't know. Who are they going to get? Everyone is like, fire this guy, fire this guy. I do it, but who are they going to get? I like Culley. Give this guy a shot. I like them to actually even cover this week and potentially win, but that's later. Next, the rumor mill. It has Jim Harbaugh returning to the NFL. Possible coaching vacancies would be maybe the Bears, maybe the Raiders. Look, I can see this definitely happening for a number of teams, but I really like him going to the Bears. We all know that Matt Nagy is going to be fired before tomorrow comes. I mean, he's terrible.
Oh, I guess I forgot my code. They ain't cut me. Yes, they did. They must have cut me. Man. Already? Since year 2.
Played for the Bears. They need a guy. Michigan's done him right. A lot of these guys get bored coaching these young men in college, and they want to come back to their gridiron. I could definitely see it happening. Keep your eyes on him. Spencer's favorite player, Baker Mayfield. He won't play week number 18 and will have surgery to repair his torn labrum immediately. He's been hurt all year. I'm willing to give him a pass. He's been awful all year. I can't see this guy being the Cleveland starting quarterback next season if they have any sense in their head. I wish him well in that surgery, and I hope he heals up. But let's not face it, healthy or not, Baker Mayfield is a bum. Next, Dan Reeves, who appeared in 9 Super Bowls as a player, assistant coach, and head coach, has died at his home on Saturday. He was 77. Dan Reeves is like another NFL icon. I mean, he's not like, the level of some of the GOATs. He's not a Madden, but boy, there's a lot of great stuff that could be traced back to him. May he rest in peace. He's done a lot for this league, and to have him gone is now just another huge hole for the NFL. Next, CEH out Saturday with a shoulder injury. Chiefs are playing it smart. They really don't need him. To be quite honest, I think he's the 3rd best running back on the team. CEH was a big swing and miss for Kansas City. No huge loss. He's going to rest with that shoulder injury. Next, a lot of COVID guys this week. Justin Fields, Micah Parsons, Stephon Gilmore, Tyron Smith, Deontay Johnson, Al Woods, Joe Hayden, Joe Mixon, all COVID positive and will miss this week's game, along with a couple other guys that just hit the wire too. COVID is not slowing down. Folks, I was just grabbing something to eat before I got to the studio. There's an urgent care right by the bagel store by my house. The line was like 50 deep. You want to get vaccinated. You don't want to get vaccinated. We ain't here to talk about that, but do yourself a favor and protect your neck. This Omicron variant is claiming fools, and it's doing it in a major way. The NFL's no different, and Spencer and I were just talking about this. If it's happened to your team and hit your team and everyone's come back healthy, thank your lucky stars. Because when the playoffs start next week, somebody's going to get hit with COVID, and it's going to be a prominent player, and they ain't playing. Can you imagine it being like the quarterback of your team? I don't even want to say it out loud.
NFC Conference Championship.
I don't even want to
Tampa
say
Bay
it out
Buccaneers,
loud.
Green Bay Packers.
Can you imagine?
Tom Brady goes out.
Tom Brady gets
Woo!
COVID. The game is Saturday. He's
Man.
test COVID positive Friday afternoon. Yo, it's real.
It could actually happen.
It can happen. These things can happen. I really hope they're bubble wrapping these guys, man. Patrick Mahomes shouldn't leave his house. They need to bubble. You remember that movie, The Boy in the Bubble? That should be Patrick Mahomes for the next 3 weeks.
These guys in hazmat suits.
Hazmat, the whole nine. Just send his big mouth wife out there at Walgreens to get the groceries. Next, Derrick Henry returns to practice and expects to be activated soon. We all know Derrick Henry was built in the same lab as some of these other guys coming back from these ACL tears, Cam Akers. Derrick Henry's not going to miss a beat. They're not going to rush him back, but he's getting activated. And sure enough, in the playoffs, you're going to see this freight train come back. He's fresh. It is a major injury, but obviously if they're activating him, they think he's ready. I'd be scared to have to see this guy in an AFC Conference Championship. I really would. The guy's a monster. Next, Teddy Bridgewater is placed on IR, ending his season. No big deal. That offense is horrific with him. They're horrific without him. I think touchdown Teddy's time in Denver needs to end. Concussions are nothing to play with. We wish you well. Get well, Teddy.
No, you're still holding on. Let go.
Next. Titans linebacker Bud Dupree was charged with misdemeanor assault after an altercation with an employee at a Walgreens in Nashville. My question is, why are you even out? I get you guys got to live your lives. I'm not telling anyone what to do, but can't you not can you not get in trouble? What? Why do these NFL players find this stuff happening to them? If me and somebody in a Nashville Walgreens get into, I'm just walking away, man. Nowadays, people are pulling guns on people. People are giving each other COVID. People are swinging twisted tees into the face of other people. It's just not worth the smoke. What is Bud Dupree thinking? Right?
And before the playoffs,
before the playoffs.
What's the best case scenario of you fighting somebody at a Walgreens?
What is that? What are you accomplishing, bro? These guys have rocks in their head and no one advocating for them. It's clearly obvious, and it's quite sad, honestly. All right, folks, that's the quick hitters, man. I'm already getting fired up, and so you know I'm about to get even more fired up. But before we hit our Roast the Ref segment, we're going to talk about our social media pages. We're everywhere out there on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have a YouTube page where you can like and subscribe. You can go to grabit.com and sign up. It is free to sign up, FREE. All you need is an email account, and all the content is there. There's some other really cool content at Grab It. You should really check it out. That way, when the information comes through us, we can send it to you, and you'll be the first to know. Check us out on social media. Don't play yourself getting left out in the cold, wishing you knew what was happening in the National Football League. Now, it's time for our favorite segment of the show, where we go in on these refs and how bad they are, and they were especially bad this weekend. I thought last weekend was bad. My goodness, this was horrific. Roast the Ref, sponsored by Heroes Heating and Air, Medford, Oregon. Check them out for all your service needs at heroheatingandair.com. Let's roast these refs.
Quarterback arm.
No, God! No, God, please,
Pass is incomplete. No flag.
All right, folks. It's time for the blind leading the blind. Roast the Refs, sponsored by heroesheatingandair.com. Look, just when you think it can't get any worse in the National Football League, it does. I sit down in my office and I look for these egregious calls, and I'm done very quickly because there's just so many of them to choose from. So first things first, we're going after refs by name now. Okay, enough of this going after this group versus this game. Okay, Ron Torbert. This is the first time that there was a substitution that went unnoticed for the most part. It was unscheduled. Okay? They brought in, I think it was 4 new refs to Chiefs Bengals. And this was a horrifically, my goodness, this game was so poorly officiated. And no one really explained why there was this switch to this game. I'm assuming it was COVID. But you never really got any real answers, and I did digging. Why were these guys switched out last minute? I don't know. I'm not saying I smell a rat, but I'm not saying I'm smelling flowers either.
You calling me a liar?
I ain't calling you a truther.
Let's start off with this missed fumble call on Chase Edmonds. Dallas got jobbed here. We all know it. This ball is out. They're saying his knee was down. That ball's out, folks. Okay, now, Dallas played poorly in this game. Dallas plays poorly at home, period. Okay? Don't get gassed because they beat up Washington. They lost to the Raiders at home. They lost to the Cardinals at home. They lost to the Broncos at home. But they needed this call. And it was bang, bang. But if you look at the different angles that it came from, the ball's out. That gives them the ball if they get the right call with the opportunity to go down and score. Bad job by the refs. This is getting really out of hand. It's been out of hand. Shame on you. Next. My goodness. I'm surprised I still have a television after watching this game. I'm not even joking you. I was so mad watching this game. This ridiculous horse collar on L'Jarius Sneed. Now, Jamar Chase is eating the Chiefs secondary for lunch. Okay? But that is not a horse collar. And you know why it's not a horse collar? Because a horse collar is when you grab the guy from the back and drag him down. If anything, it was a shoulder-arm tackle. That is not a horse collar, okay? 2 hands, bring the guy down from the back. That's not a horse collar. And when do you see Andy Reid get upset? When?
It's just he's grabbing him initially from the shoulder pad and bringing him down.
That is not a horse collar. That is not first down 15 yards. I'm sorry. And it's the same ref. It's this guy. Okay? Ron Torbert. We are coming for you and your crew. This was one of the most terribly officiated games all year. This was just as bad as Dallas Vegas on Thanksgiving. And that game was an absolute travesty. Next. Missed false start on the Bengals. How many times do the Chiefs have to stop the Bengals on 4th down from the 1-yard line? The left guard clearly moves. The Chiefs are all pointing at it. Dude, he moved. He moved. Not a call. I'm sorry. I don't care what anyone says. The National Football League wanted the Bengals to win this game. I will never back off that. And I know I'm a Chief fan, but I'm not a homer. But it is what it is. And I know Jamar Chase was Jerry Rice out there. The Chiefs were egregious. They were the Chiefs were terrible in the secondary. Spagnuolo was awful from the sidelines. But those are calls that are horrible and were missed that dictated that game. If you go back and look at the last minute of the game, that goal line stance, they gave the Bengals like 15 chances from the 1-yard line.
There's always something out there, you know.
My God.
Holding or
Dude, can you make it look at least a little less obvious? Next. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. Look at this BS pass interference call in Titans, Miami. You know who got the flag for that call? They call that on the Dolphins. How do you call that on the wrong team? Look at this. He's pulling the Dolphin player down, and they called pass interference on the Dolphins. My goodness, this is how bad the refs are this year. They don't even know who to call it on. That is one of the worst pass interference calls I have ever seen in my life.
How does Ryan Tannehill end up on every single roasting the refs segment?
I don't get it.
There's something going on.
That is absolutely disgraceful. I mean, if you're going to make the call, and it is pass interference, can you at least make it on the right team? Dear God. And the cherry on top of the sundae. Look at this. You got to be kidding me. How does Odell Beckham Jr. get away with throwing a punch and not get a flag? Now it's okay to now punch players in the ass.
It's a bizarre play, man. What do you do that for?
Stafford throws the pick.
I mean, that's just silly.
At the 1, and he gets up and punches the guy in the ass, and there's no flag. Let me tell you something out there. You refs, let me ever find out where you guys live, man. Unbelievable. I mean, every week I think it can't get worse. Unreal. Real football fans know that the NFL is scripted. I'll never back off that, but at least try to hide some of these calls. It's absolutely a joke. You refs need to have your vision checked. Unreal. And I'm telling you, I say it every week, and I'm going to say it again this week. There's going to be a call that happens this year in the playoffs that's going to decide a game where a team that should not win will end up winning because of it. And that's when you know that the dictator, Roger Goodell's behind it all, and he will not have a word to say. You notice how Roger Goodell never has anything to say about anything? Where is Roger Goodell? When was the last time you heard Roger Goodell say anything derogatory about the job that these refs are doing? You wonder why? Ask yourself that. And that's all I got to say about that. All right, folks. I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to get something off my chest. I just need to rant a little bit. This roasting the ref, it really upsets me. It really does, especially when these calls go against my team. So I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. It's the time of the show where we talk about what you guys want to talk about. Our mailbag this week, okay? First question coming from my homeboy Rob the Raider right here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Trevon Diggs. How is he both the best DB and the worst DB in the entire league? So first things first, I don't think he's the best DB in the league. I don't. I think he's having a nice year. But I think it's very important to understand that, like, Trevon Diggs has given up over 1,000 air yards this year. Trevon Diggs is a household name because he picks balls off. So in order to pick balls off, you're going to give up a lot of yards. I think he's good. I think he's top 10. I think he's been a difference maker for Dallas. I think that, guys think twice before they throw the ball to him sometimes, but don't be fooled. I watched that whole Cardinal-Cowboy game, okay? A.J. Green is an old man, and A.J. Green was blowing right by Trevon Diggs. Trevon Diggs is good because he takes chances. But let's not think for a second that you can't throw to his side. He's not shut down, okay? He's having a nice year. Sometimes balls just find you. Don't forget there's a lot of bad quarterbacks in this league, guys, okay? He's good. Is he great? I have to see him do this for a couple more years. Next, discuss how the extra game has impacted this year's NFL. My friend, the Deacon of Dallas, Scott Broyles from Texas. Look, I'm not a big fan of this extra game. Tom Brady's not a big fan of this extra game. The players aren't big fans of this extra game. The extra game was implemented for money. It's just that simple. So it has impacted the NFL in a lot of different ways. Injuries, COVID, money. Do we play guys? Guys don't want to play. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, you're seeing OGs be like, I'm not playing this week, or I'm not feeling well. I think I have COVID, or I'm slightly injured. I'm going to take this week off. Or it's unnecessary to have this extra game in the National Football League. It just is, and it's about money. They want to generate more beer sales, more jersey sales, more ticket sales, more ownership, more viewers. It's about money. It always is with the NFL. It always has been. It always will be. They don't even try to hide it anymore. You know what I mean? They don't even try to hide it anymore. Soon it will be 19 games. Okay? And we'll just forget preseason. We'll have a preseason game, but you guys will play 19 games. Look, you know it's something that sucks when Tom Brady speaks out about it in a negative light. Tom Brady never, ever says anything about anything negative about the NFL. And he's like, dude, I personally wasn't a fan of it. It absolutely makes no sense. It's actually kind of stupid. So if Tom Brady says something about it, you know it's an absolute joke.
I think it's the structure of it that is the worst part. They say there's an extra bye week, but it's just there's no week for the preseason. That's not a bye week. You haven't started playing yet. A bye week is a rest week.
Yeah.
That's just a chill out week before the season starts. The NFL players, I'm telling you, when they negotiated the new Players Association agreement, I think the NFL gave them the first deal was just like, this is everything that we want. Mm-hmm. And it's just like one of those initial deals you're supposed to throw away and then you negotiate. And the NFL Players Association was just like, all right, sounds good. Let's just get this going. Like, no, you're supposed to negotiate those things. The
Players Association is the weakest Players Association in all of sports. They are a bunch of kittens. They go right along with everything the dictator says. They never fight back. They never really fight for their players, even though they say they will. I mean, they have their hands full with this Antonio Brown thing, and watch what happens here. They're going to lay down in the fetal position like a bunch of biatches. It's sad, and I feel bad for the players because they got to play.
I feel bad for the guys who are just making the team because they're the ones that suffer the most from this.
Yeah, this doesn't benefit OGs. It doesn't. The only person this benefits is the owners and the commissioner at NFL. You know what I mean? It doesn't benefit players at all. And they're the ones who have to play. How did that work? How did this happen? How did we get to this place in the National Football League? What a crock. Next, I want to talk about this because, I call it fair on both sides. I mean, I'm a big fan of my team, but I call it like I see it. So, blaming the refs for losses in the National Football League discuss, specifically the Kansas City Chiefs and the Dallas Cowboys, because all over social media, all I saw this week was Chief fans and Cowboys fans, and I see this happen with other teams too, and sometimes I have to call myself out on it, blaming your loss on the refs. Guys, the reason you lost is not the refs. There is really one or two real super instances in the NFL where you can actually be like, well, they lost because the refs jobbed them. The Saints got jobbed. That was because of the refs. They got jobbed. They should have gone to the Super Bowl. But last week, Jamar Chase flew to Kansas City, went to Patrick Mahomes' house, had his wife make him a sandwich, put his feet up on Mahomes' couch, and destroyed the Kansas City Chiefs. That's why they lost. Not because the refs were bad. And the refs were bad. The refs were putrid. But when you allow a guy to have 266,000 yards and 3 touchdowns by the third quarter, you're going to lose that game. When your DC chooses to leave one of the worst cornerbacks out on an island, Dolo versus Jamar Chase, on 3rd and 27 and run a jailbreak, that's why you lose. So calm down with the refs cost us the game. The refs make bad calls all week long. That's why you lost the game, because you sucked. That's why you lost the game. Same thing, Dallas. We need to stop making excuses. Dak Prescott has been bad. He's been bad. He hasn't been good. You don't play well at home. Mike McCarthy is an idiot. You don't make the right catches and the right reads. Diggs, while good, gets roasted. This is why you lost to an inferior team. Same thing when you lost to the Raiders. Same thing when you lost to the Broncos. How do you let the Broncos go to Jerry's World and blow you out 30-0 in the fourth quarter? Stop making excuses for the refs. I know that they're terrible. Nobody knows that more than the guy that's sitting in this chair. I study each week to roast them, but it's not why you lost. So take a second, dust yourself off, fall back, get yourself together. Your team's gonna be fine. When these horrible ref calls go for your team, I never see you online saying, "Oh man, we won because of the refs." So stop saying you lost because of the refs, please, and thank you. And that goes for me too. All right, I'm done screaming. We're going to do what we came here to do, and we're going to break down these games. 16 games this week in the National Football League. No Thursday night, no Monday night, straight Saturday and Sunday. Week 17, I went 12-4. I've been hot like fire for weeks, man. This is what World of Matchups does. 163-92-1 for the season. In order, Saturday afternoon. Let's roll. Chiefs at the Broncos. The Chiefs have been beaten up. They've beaten up on the Broncos a dozen times. They have not lost to the Broncos. I think Spencer was in diapers, okay? After failing to make the necessary adjustments to stop the air raid of the Bengals and getting screwed by the refs, KC now needs to win this game at worst to secure the 2 seed and possibly take the 1. They need help to get that 1. It's not out of the realm of possibility that happens. Now, this will be win number 13 in a row, and KC will take out all their frustrations on a bad Denver team led by Drew Lock. He's freaking Baker Mayfield's brother, Drew Lock. He's awful. Mahomes and company will go full throttle Saturday. They are not resting anyone because they're playing first game of the week. We don't know what's going to happen with any of those other games, so they got to handle business, and they're going to do it on the road. Andy Reid will have the playbook wide open versus a Denver team with nothing to play for but pride, okay? Darrell Williams has been terrific. This guy has been great. It just goes to show you don't need to draft running backs in the National
Peyton
Football
Barber
League.
had a 112-yard game against the Dolphins.
CEH was the wrong pick.
All I need to know.
Yeah, Darrell Williams has been fantastic, okay? And look for Kelsey and Hill to do what they're going to do. All right, they're going to get off the schneid. They're going to open it up. Now, all they have to do is slow down Javonte Williams, and it's a W. I fully expect a rebound performance for the Kansas City secondary and Coach Spags to get his act together versus a team that struggles to throw downfield. The Denver offense is like teaching a 65-year-old how to use an iPhone. They're slow, they stagger, they're awful, and they're thinking about bringing Vic Fangio back. That's an absolute nightmare they need a quarterback in the worst way. Okay, the pick's easily going to be Kansas City here. The Broncos are out all their starting corners. I think they're on their third or fourth corner. Sertan's out. They're missing everyone. Okay, and Kansas City goes there and wins all the time. I don't want to hear nothing about this Mile Magic. Chiefs are going to win by 3 touchdowns Saturday. Enjoy the game, everybody, because I know I will be. Next, Saturday night, Cowboys at Eagles. The Eagles are in the playoffs, and Coach Sirianni is still trying to figure out if they are playing their starters, okay? Resting players would help, as they will have an uphill battle in the loss. Dallas should go full steam ahead to try to right the ship, as they did not look great last week versus Arizona. They did not. But this is what I know about Dallas coming off a bad performance. They play really, really well. I'm expecting that this week, okay? Expect a good dose of Zeke, Lamb, and Coop. Dallas has to get right before the playoffs, and I think they use this game as a springboard, okay? Mike McCarthy continues to underwhelm, and he is running out of time to get this team playoff ready. Dak's got to figure this out, man. I like Dak. Dak, you're running out of time here, bro. The Rams, they'll push it in on you guys. I think Tampa still will too, and you already know Green Bay is ready. Get it together. They should get it done Saturday night in prime time. Now, they're missing a bunch of players. You know what I mean? They're missing left tackle. Micah Parsons is out. COVID hit them late this week. These guys aren't going to play. But it should be enough versus an Eagles team that will probably rest players at home. And they always play the Eagles tough. Division game, I take Dallas by the narrowest of margins. Next, early games on Sundays. Steelers at the Ravens. I don't know about you, man. It kind of brought a tear to my eye watching Big Ben Sunday night, man.
I was happy because they were the last team on my 9-team parlay that I had.
Spencer hit a 9-teamer.
9-teamer.
How you hit a 9-teamer? That's how you know he's Spencer the Wiz. For real. Like a 9-teamer, I don't think I'll ever hit a 9-teamer.
The fact that they were dogs in this game, it just didn't.
It's ridiculous.
It didn't make any sense
at all. I told everybody they're going to smash Cleveland. Cleveland is not good. They have a great roster with a terrible quarterback. You cannot win in that environment. You just can't. Now, after a huge win and home send-off for Big Ben, I expect Pittsburgh to find a way to lose this game. Nobody knows what the deal is with Lamar Jackson. Whether he plays or not, it doesn't matter. I still like Baltimore at home to find a way to put Ben on his back. This game is more for pride than anything else for the Ravens. Okay? Mark Andrews is a stud. S-T-U-D. He'll be flying up draft boards next year. And he should have his way, and the Raven run game should be a focal point. Deontay Johnson will be out for this game. Late week scratch, COVID-19. That does not help at all for the Steelers, okay? Look, the Ravens just going to have to need to keep Najee Harris in check. Bottle him up. I smell a 3-point win at home. Tyler Huntley will do enough. Doesn't really matter. Baltimore better watch out, though, because T.J. Watt is quietly having a monster year. Monster. Neither team will really make any noise in the playoffs if they make it there, but they're going to go all out for each other because this is a game where division rivals are at play. Can you show this stat on T.J. Watt? He's not getting as much love in the past as other defensive players who are blowing up the sacks because of the extra game. There'll be an asterisk. I don't like this extra game nonsense, man. And T.J. Watt's a baller. He was all over the field. Dude, Sunday night, if you didn't watch that game, go to NFL.com and there should be a section for T.J. Watt's best plays. Dude, this guy was a one-man wrecking crew. He's a great player. And I think that the Pittsburgh defense bounces back next year. They've been bad this year. I think they'll be a lot better next year. They need to get their act together, but they ain't winning Sunday. The pick is the Ravens.
T.J. Watt has also missed 2 games this season, too.
This is what I'm talking about.
Insane. That's
insane. This is what I'm talking about. Imagine if he played those games. He missed 2 games. 2 games, and he's got 21.5 sacks? Damn. Monster. There's something in the Watt family blood. Their mom gave them freaking corn-fed meals and cow's milk as kids. You know what I mean?
They're raised like Spartans or something.
Yeah, they're like, seriously, they're raised by wolves or something. Those Watts are something else. Next, Bengals at Browns. Joe Mixon is out. So is Baker the Bum Mayfield. 2 key pieces for each team. I fully expect Cincy to come back to earth this week on the road. I don't care who's playing for Cleveland. Cleveland will be ready for this game. It'll be a big Cincinnati letdown. Cleveland always plays them tough. I love Nick Chubb to run wild this week, and that run game will do what it needs to do. Cincy will have to win by throwing the ball 40-plus times, and I see the Browns secondary doing their jobs and holding steady versus Chase if he even plays, Higgins, and Boyd. We know that Joe Burrow is not expected to play on top of it, all due to a sore knee, a Week 18 sore knee, if you know what I'm saying. Look, I don't care who that quarterback is in Cincinnati. They ain't winning this game. Let's be honest. Some of the best football this season by Cleveland was played when Baker Mayfield wasn't on the field. That's just a fact. If you've been watching this season, Cleveland fans, search your feelings. You know it to be true.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
All right? Everybody will be gassed. Everybody. Because Cincinnati Bengals beat Kansas City. I ain't going to be one of those people that gets gassed. I ain't falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Everybody but me. The pick, the dog pound. Next. The Washington football team, the Washington Admirals, or whatever they're going to be called, at the New York Giants. 2 teams with 0 to play for. Is there a bigger free agent bust than Kenny Golladay? I think I saw Kenny Golladay washing cars at Terrible's this morning. Where is that guy? Wherever he is where Calvin Ridley is. These guys are stealing money. And I'm not here to poo-poo on mental health, but enough already. Can you let us know what's going on, fam?
A casino-level heist,
Dude,
maybe.
This is brutal, okay? Kenny Golladay stole from them and is now helping them look for the money. The Giants have no QBs, no defense, and a clueless HC and a front office that they are actually bringing back next year. Why are you going to put this band back together? This is a decision that nobody can make any sense of. Why would you keep this? You need to wipe the Giants absolutely clean and start fresh. My goodness. Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, and the Washington football team defense should put New York in all types of awful situations. And look, all they have to do is slow down Saquon Barkley, who is the new what-if player in the National Football League. What if he had a line? What if he had a quarterback? What if there was a defense? What if there was a decent coach? I won't touch Saquon Barkley in any fantasy draft ever again on any kind of situation. I don't care if he's in the last round. You can have him. Now, he finally had a 100-yard game last week, though. It only took him 17 games. Watching a full Giants game will make anyone's eyes bleed. So I can't take them for any reason at home or on the road. The pick is the Washington football team. Next, Dow Bears at the Vikings. Welcome to the hurry up and lose so we can fire Matt Nagy game. Kirk Cousins is back. Dalvin Cook is a stud, and Justin Jefferson never gets his flowers. He's a top 5 wide receiver currently in the National Football League. Chicago is a hot mess with injuries, poor coaching, and underperforming players. They have players, but many of them have underperformed and need decent coaching. Now, even without Adam Thielen, this should be an easy home win for the Vikes. David Montgomery is a stud, so the Vikings will have to work to get it. But it's a meaningless division game. They're on the road. The Matt Nagy saga has drawn itself out longer than I can imagine. It's going to be a resounding win for Minnesota. Who knows if it's going to be Justin Fields? Who knows if it's going to be Andy Dalton? At this point, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. You got 2 quarterbacks. You got no quarterbacks. John Madden, may he rest in peace. They'll pick the Vikings. Next, upset special. We need to have like an upset special siren that we bang. We're going to implement that in World of Matchups coming to you live and direct from the Grab It television studios next season for 2022-2023. The Titans need this game to take that 1 seed in the AFC. How are the Titans the 1 seed in the AFC? That is absolutely disgusting. I'm sorry. Titans are not that good. On paper, it looks like a gimme versus a bad Houston team. But This is why they play the games. Home dogs pay dividends. The Titans shouldn't be favored by 10 versus anybody in the National Football League. You take that, you throw it on a 9-team parlay with Spencer the Wiz, and you're going to have a steak dinner that night. Listen, David Culley has done a decent job with what he's had, and I expect him to be retained. This is a solid performance from Houston. All season long, with what they have, they've done okay. Atlanta's been blown out more times, and Atlanta has players. They don't have anybody. Now, I just don't know how Tennessee keeps winning despite looking lackluster week in and week out. Ryan Tannehill has been bad this season, man. He's been awful all year long, and I could see him blowing this game. I really can. Houston is better than people think, and I think Brandon Cooks and Davis Mills go off versus a very so-so secondary. They got a decent front four in Tennessee, but the secondary is wide open. Deonta Foreman revenge game narrative will go out the window in this one, as the Houston defense will shut down the Titan run game and shock the league. This is my upset special, and don't be scared to lay it. Those points I will take all day, every day, twice on Sunday. They'll pick the Texans. Next, the Colts, who lost to the awful Vegas Raiders last week. The disgusting Indianapolis Colts. They go to Jacksonville to take on the Jags. They blew it last week at home versus the Raiders, and now it's time to fly to Jacksonville where they lose all the time. I think they're 0-6 in their last 6 trips there. That's bad. This is a must-win game that has their playoff lives written all over it. I trust Carson Wentz as much as I trust a fart after Taco Bell. Okay? I don't trust Carson Wentz to deliver my newspaper. So it's going to be fire up JT. Jonathan Taylor has to be big in this game. The Colt defense will swarm Trevor Lawrence, who has been absolutely horrendous. This should be an easy Colt win. It really should be. Play smart football, make safe throws, and run it into the ground. Frank Reich, get it right. Jacksonville is nothing but a practice squad team right now. There should be zero reason they lose this game. Zero.
0.0.
Coach, you will be fired if you screw this up. World of Matches will see to it. The pick is the Colts. Now, here is something that is totally bonkers that I found online. Throw this up there, Spence. If the Colts lose to the Jaguars, manage to go 0 in their last 7 and lose this game, the Sunday night football, Raiders-Chargers, they'll both get in with a tie. They literally would have no motivation for either team doing anything but just not really playing.
How do you think that gets set up? Who calls who? If the Colts lose,
Biaggi will.
You just call Stanley.
Biaggi's already shown he's dirty because he's starting Hobbs, so he'll be like, oh, you know.
How do you have that conversation? Like, I saw that the Colts lost.
Get Coach on the phone. Let's talk. I mean, I know you
Talk
know
business.
It's like it'll be like a burner phone. You know what I mean? It'd be like deep throat. Well, you know what's
They'll
happening.
break it as soon as the conversation.
You know what's happening, right? Yeah, I know what's happening. Well, what do you want to do? Well, we should do. You know what I mean? It'll
Shake
be
my
like
hand
one of
twice
those.
in the beginning of the game if you're down.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even believe. I am secretly rooting for it to happen, even though I'm picking the Colts. And I'm also rooting to see what's going to happen because this week in Jacksonville, there is going to be a clown show, like a clown revolution that the fans have set up where they're all going to show up to the stadium wearing clown gear, different clown gear, to show their displeasure for the job that Shad Khan has done and Trevor Lawrence has done, and just overall displeasure for the Jacksonville franchise this year. It's been an awful year. So you got a lot of different moving parts in this game. I can't wait to see how it all plays out. Next, Packers at the Lions. Will the Packers rest their starters? Does it matter? The answer is no. The Packers have gotten the NFC wrapped up and on the road to the NFC Championship runs through Lambeau. Either way you chalk it up, they will beat Detroit. Okay? You may see the Scrubs get some run once the points are up on the board, but either way, Jared Goff and company will struggle to beat a Packer B team at home. Amora St. Brown has been a nice find and will continue his ascension, and as well as having DeAndre Swift more involved. Shout out to DeAndre Swift. He could have mailed his season in. He's hurt, and he could have just been like, I'm done for the season. No, he's showcasing either to go to another team, push his way out, or to show the Lions that what kind of player he really is. Big ups to him. At the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and the run game will win this game going away, and Jordan Love will get in a meaningless amount of reps. The pick is easily the Green Bay Packers. All right. We're going to take a commercial break. Those are our early games. We're going to come back with our Insurance Lounge player to watch this week. We just mentioned his name, and would you believe that this guy was a fantasy winner? This guy has been in the top 10 in catches and touchdowns the last couple weeks, and he is on one of the worst teams in the National Football League. To find out who he is, stay tuned. My name is Dexter Reed. You've been watching World of Matchups. We'll see you on the flip. Heroes Heating and Air are HVAC experts with great customer service and an unbeatable price point. They are certified Rheem heating and air conditioning equipment dealers in the Southern Oregon area, including Medford, Grants Pass, and Ashland. They offer free bids and estimates, 24-hour repair service, new installation and replacements, attractive maintenance agreements, and a senior citizen special with home efficiency replacements. Check them out online at heroesheatingandair.com or call 541-821-1615. Welcome back to the show. Our Player to Watch segment this week is sponsored by Insurance Lounge. Finding an insurance plan that is right for you and your budget can be challenging. However, the team at Insurance Lounge makes it easy. Our team is dedicated to being transparent with our customers when navigating the multiple types of insurance options. Auto, Medicare, and business insurance are only the beginning of the major insurance categories that they cover at Insurance Lounge. They offer personalized recommendations and help guide you through the process, making your decisions as effective and stress-free as possible. Think of them as a one-stop shop for all your insurance needs. Get a quote today in the most convenient way for you, whether in person, online, or by calling the team at 866-459-2166. InsuranceLounge.com. Check them out. All right. Player to watch time. This week's player to watch is none other than number 14, wide receiver for the Detroit Lions, Mr. Amon-Ra. I keep butchering his name. How do you pronounce his name?
St. Brown.
Yeah, we just call him Mr. St. Brown.
That's how you say it.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. Guys, this guy is an absolute stud. Nobody even knew who he was before the year. Nobody. He got his chance to play, and all he did was bring fantasy football owners a title. All he has done is show up on the stat sheet. He has been hot like fire. The USC product, drafted in round number 4. What a gem. 6 foot, 197, can stretch the field. He runs a 4.6, so he's not super fast, but he's shifty. And he comes from a long line of football players. His brother, Equanimeous St. Brown, plays for the Green Bay Packers. He's got another brother who is playing at Stanford. Soon all 3 of them will be playing in the National Football League. Look, this guy's name has something to do with Egyptian royalty. His dad was like, look, my kids, he's like the LeVar Ball with sense dad for this trio of ballers. And they speak 3 different languages. This guy speaks English, German, and French. I read that his mom would not speak to him in any other language but German. He took the SAT in 3 different languages. This guy is intelligent, and you need to watch out for these players in the National Football League who have skills but have smarts. This guy is going to make noise next year. He's caught 85 balls this year, I think. He's got 5 touchdowns and 1 of them rushing. And this is on a really bad Lions team, guys. Just goes to show you that sometimes when you sift through it, you'll find a diamond. I expect this guy to catch 100 balls next year. If a healthy Jared Goff can get his act together and TJ Hawkinson can stay healthy, with DeAndre Swift, if they draft another receiver and get some help on defense, get Jeff Okudah back, the Lions will be in more games. And it's because of this guy. On behalf of Grab It Television, Spencer Lewis to my right, this week's player to watch has been Amon-Ra St. Brown. All right, time for the late games. Let's roll. Jets at Bills. The Jets had Tampa on the ropes and let them come back and win. It was their best played game this season. Sadly, it won't translate to this week on the road versus a hot Bills team. Despite Josh Allen throwing 3 picks last week, Buffalo has found a way to run the ball finally, and they're smashing teams at home finally. They're getting it together, all because of Devin Singletary. They finally committed to one guy, and it's working. As long as they can do this and get throws to Stephon Diggs and trust Josh Allen not to turn the ball over, the Jets will surely lose this game. How badly they lose will depend on Zach Wilson. Now, the Jets simply don't have the personnel to keep up with a team like Buffalo, who is getting playoff ready. The pick is easily the Buffalo Bills. And sidebar, Stephon Diggs has the opportunity to make an extra $3 million in incentives this weekend. You go to any sports book and you bang the over on his 6-catch player prop. They're going to force feed him the ball. So that's $1.5 million right there. And if he gets over 258 yards receiving, that's another $1.5 million right there. You think these players don't know that? He's in Josh Allen's ear like, yo, bro, that's a bunch of steak dinners coming your way.
Bringing him extra coffee in the morning.
The whole 9 yards. I want the ball. Stephon Diggs, you heard it here first. You're welcome. Next, Saints at the Falcons. This game reeks of the Saints defense burying Matt Ryan into the turf. The Saints have an outside chance of getting in the lofts, and they won't blow it trying to play games with a bad Atlanta team. Alvin Kamara should have a good game, as well as Taysom Hill. Now, while Atlanta has overperformed at times this year, they also have been blown out a ton of times. Okay? Expect nothing different here, because good defense give them fits, and the Saints, you already know about their defense. It's really, really good. Look, the Saints are knocking on the door to sneak in the loss. They're trying to backdoor their way in. Kyle Pitts is going to be keyed on, and that Atlanta run game has been dismal, despite an awesome year by Cordarrelle Patterson. Look, the pick is easily Who Dat Nation. Matt Ryan, it's time to retire. It's time for Matt Ryan to retire.
He's going to go somewhere next year. He's not going to be on the Falcons, but he's going to be a starting quarterback for a team next year. The Browns, perhaps.
Oh, I could see that. And I could see the Browns being the same Browns because Matt Ryan and Baker Mayfield are the same player. Next, Panthers at the Buccaneers. Dear God, Sam Darnold is awful. What happened? He had a great first couple games. He's been terrible. He is not the answer for this Carolina team. It has been a long time since I saw a performance as bad as he was last week versus New Orleans. I know Tampa's in turmoil right now, but they still have Tom Brady and a solid defense. Now, that is all they will need to beat a pathetic Panther team. Matt Rule should be fired as the rumblings about his performance grow louder and louder. And no team can afford to lose a game right now more than the Tampa Bay can. They can't afford to lose this game. Expect a beatdown. Chuba Hubbard will find no red room, to speak of, and the Panthers will lose this game by 3 touchdowns, okay? The pick is easily Tampa Bay. Tampa's got a bunch of guys out with COVID. They got a bunch of injuries. They got Antonio Brown. The coach is a mess right now. They're still going to smash this team. The Panthers are putrid. Next, Niners at the Rams. This is going to be a good game. The Niners could not have picked a worse time to have to play the Rams, okay? The Rams are playing at a high level right now behind the mastery of Coach Sean McVay. Cooper freaking Kupp is going for records. Odell Beckham Jr. has resurgence. Look, they have solidified that receiving core, and Sony Michel is a newfound gem. They're firing on all cylinders right now. Top it off with an all-world defense, and the Niners, they're in trouble. If Jimmy G can't go, then it's rookie Trey Lance again. I don't think it will matter. Deebo Samuel will be keyed on heavily in this game because he is their go-to guy, okay? And Brandon Ayuk, they're going to shut him down too. I'm not worried about the San Francisco running game. Rams, stop the run. L.A. is proving week in and week out that they are a team that can go to the Super Bowl. They could go. It's not out of the realm of possibility, okay? Normally there's only like a couple teams from the NFC that can go. There's a couple more this year. Rams could go. Please take a second and recognize this. The same quarterback who led Megatron to having that NFL receiving record it's the same quarterback that is leading Cooper Kupp to having the monster year that he's having that may break that record, albeit with one extra game. Please put some respect on Matt Stafford's name. Matt Stafford is not a bum. He's one of the toughest quarterbacks in the league, and he deserves his flowers. The pick, the Rams. Next, Patriots at Dolphins. The Dolphins came back to earth last week in a big way, ending their winning streak versus the Titans. I knew as soon as they played a decent team, they were getting beat to death. In flies the Patriots, who destroyed Jacksonville and threw a 50-burger up on them. You know you're bad if the Patriots give you a 50-burger. The Patriots don't score 50 points in 5 games. Look, Double B usually struggles with Miami, especially in their building, but this is a game they absolutely have to have. Miami will struggle to stop Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson all game long. Mac Jones will not have to do too much, but keep his tight ends involved. The Pats D will be the big winner in this game as J.C. Jackson and crew should slow down Jalen Waddle, who has been amazing this year and will be flying up draft boards all season next year, and Mike Gesicki. Both teams are trying to get in the playoffs and make some noise, but I don't think Miami can get in the playoffs based on what's happened, so this is all about New England right now. Expect a solid effort from both sides, though, just because it's a division game. But Coach Bill's going to be the difference maker here. She's going to stop Tua. Okay, he owns Tua. Tua will not be great on Sunday. Take the Patriots all day, every day, twice on Sunday, and roll the pick, New England. And finally, our last game of the regular season slate is the Seattle Seahawks at the Cardinals, at the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals actually looked good versus Dallas last week. To gain some kind of momentum heading into the playoffs, they needed that win. They really did. They've been floundering for weeks. Seattle destroyed the Lions behind 3 DK Metcalf touchdowns and 4 touchdown throws by Russell Wilson. Oh, all of a sudden, they want to wake up now, maybe save Pete Carroll's job. This is a last-ditch effort by Pete Carroll to save his job, in my estimation, and I actually think they win this game because they're going to let Russ throw it all over the yard. Rumblings of Russ leaving. All of a sudden, everyone's panicking. They're like, give him what he wants. There's probably no playbooks. There's probably no plays even coming in his helmet. He's like, all right, guys, you go long. You run this slant. You run this curl, and I'll throw it 50 yards.
Backyard football. You got the
backyard football. That is
the plays on the football. He's just going to point at him.
On its best. Here we go. Rashad Penny has been brilliant. He's been brilliant, man. I thought he was going to be a first-round bust. He won some people some fantasy titles, too. If you had Rashad Penny and Amara St. Brown, imagine. Those guys are nobodies at the beginning of the year. It just
Tyler
goes
Huntley
to show
too.
you. Yeah, it just goes to show you that the draft is not where you win the league. The waiver wire is where you win the league. Facts. Now, I digress. I think this game shoots out. And as much as the Cardinals overachieved on the road last week is as much as they're going to underachieve this week at home. I like Kyler Murray, but he is a bit erratic. Let's be honest. Okay? I think he's like he's like a chihuahua that like snorted some drugs or something. I see a chihuahua just running all over the field all the time. And I think this game is going to be a letdown for them. I really do. Heading into the playoffs, they're going to lose this game to Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. This is another Upset Special 2.0 coming to you live and direct from World of Matchups. All right. We are about to break down our game of the week, which is the most fun part of the show, especially because it is a huge, huge game right here in our backyard at Allegiant Stadium where the Las Vegas Raiders have a shot to go to the playoffs. Unbelievable. Versus the Los Angeles Chargers. And I am bringing in fellow and friend of mine, Raider fan, a guy that works at my job. We love to talk sports all the time, Mr. Rob Cervantes, to talk about this week's game. But first, we're going to pay some bills and come back with the heat. My name is Dexter Reed. You've been watching World of Matchups. We will see you on the flip. Welcome back to the program, everyone. Before we venture into our Game of the Week and special guests, we must focus on our Game of the Week sponsor for the entire season, Miss Stacey Harrison of Felony Fitness. Folks, Felony Fitness isn't for the faint of heart. Felony Fitness promotes solely the 4 F's: no fear, no forgiveness, no failure, and no false hopes. Those who say whatever doesn't kill you will make you stronger, be patient because they are coming back around to finish the job. Felony Fitness now, Felony Fitness forever. All right, everybody, it's Game of the Week time. This week we have our Las Vegas Raiders at home here at Allegiant taking on the LA Chargers in a win and get in the playoff scenario. To break it down with me, I brought in my friend, Mr. Rob Cervantes, and we are going to talk about why he thinks this is the Raiders' chance to actually get into the playoffs and make some noise, making his first appearance on World of Matches. Please welcome in with a large round of applause, Mr. Rob Cervantes. Rob, man, welcome to World of Matches. Thanks for coming on and discussing some football with us today, bro.
Oh, thanks for having me.
We appreciate you being here. So this has been a tumultuous season for the Vegas Raiders. I think that's the proper word to use. And with all that being said, they actually have a chance to get into playoffs, which is kind of mind-boggling when you think about a month ago where they were standing right now. What do you think that they need to do in order to win this game on Sunday Night Football?
I think the biggest thing is what they got to do is what they've started doing the last 3 weeks, which is run the ball, control the clock, not fall behind. I mean, looking back at that first game against the Chargers, they fell behind 21-0 at halftime, and they never really got back into it. So I think they just got to focus on what they've been doing, running the ball, controlling the clock, keeping the defense off the field. I think that's the key for first and foremost right there.
Yeah, you got to use Josh Jacobs. I mean, you have this battering ram. You got to give this guy's got to be a 3-and-out back all game long in order for you to have a chance in this game. I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'll be the Charger fan here. I truly believe that the 2 best players on the field are going to be Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler. Raider defense has been a lot better this year. They've been much better. Right. They've played really, really well. But your linebackers concern me a little bit, especially with Eckler catching passes out of the backfield. And we know that Justin Herbert's he's a future MVP in this league. I really believe that. How are you going to stop these guys? Because if you stop these guys, you win this game. What's the game plan if you're a coach in the film room to put these guys down?
I think it's going to start with the offense. Like I said, you got to control the clock and run the ball. I don't think they really want to get into a shootout. The last game defensively, they only had 2 sacks, no turnovers. So they got to, maybe blitz a little bit. I think we actually are the least blitzing team in the league. So I think we got to get pressure on them, make Herbert uncomfortable. And like I said, we don't want to get into a shootout with them because I think their skill players are some of the best in the league. Like you said, Herbert, Eckler, Keenan Allen, they're getting cooked back from COVID. So they're going to be at full strength. And so for us, we got to just control the clock. I'd like to see maybe a little bit more Mariota to keep drives alive. He did a good job last week. Picked up a couple of really key third downs for us. I think that like I said, that's the key. Control the clock and just don't fall behind and don't get into a shootout. Yeah. I think that's the key.
Yeah, I don't think you have the firepower to win a shootout, even if they trot Darren Waller out there, which I think they're going to. I mean, I think they're going to hit that. They're going to shoot that knee up, and they're going to send him out there. This game, to me, feels like week 1 when you played the Ravens. It just has that feel about it. I mean, I'm picking the Chargers to win a very close game, but I would not be surprised to see the Raiders win this game and go to the playoffs. I really wouldn't. It's a game that not a lot of people are going to pick them. It's going to be packed. They're going to be ready to go because they know they really have no business being there right now, depending when you look at what they've gone through this year. I mean, Nate Hobbs now with the DUI. It just seems like it's always something with this team. Let's talk about Derrick Carr. You know how I feel about Derrick Carr. Spencer's not a Derrick Carr fan either, and Spencer is a diehard Raiders fan as well. It seems like there's 2 sets of fans. The fans that are willing to give Derrick Carr a pass because there's always something that the Raiders haven't given him, and the fans that think it's time for Derrick Carr to move on. Your thoughts on Derrick Carr in this game and moving forward as a Vegas Raider?
Well, I think this is a big game for him because this is year 7. I've always been a huge Carr fan. I think he's been the best quarterback we've had for a while. He wants to be there. He wants to lead this team. I think when he's got the weapons, he's been good. Statistically, he's always been in like the top 10 as far as yards and touchdowns. I know a lot of that is coming from behind. For him, it's just like don't make the big mistakes. He gets a lot of flack for checking it down and not taking, running with the ball when he should. But, like you said, all things considered, when you look at where the team's been the last few years, I mean, this is, he's only had a couple winning seasons since he's been there. So I think this is a huge game for him personally.
Yeah,
to try to actually make the playoffs and actually get a chance to play in the playoffs because he's never actually played in a playoffs game.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Derek Carr's never been to the playoffs, Spencer. Wow. Can you imagine Derek Carr winning this game, Rob, and winning a playoff game? He'll be a Raider for life.
I can.
He'll be a Raider for life. Derek Carr will be a Raider for life if that happens. I really believe that, and I'm one of those people. While I love Carr, I really love Carr. I think he's a great dude. I really do. I just think he's run out of excuses with the Raiders, and I think it's time to move on. But this game could prove me wrong. So before we finish and make our final predictions, I want to talk to you about the culture of the Raiders. Spencer and I talk about the culture of the Raiders all the time, and it's just this year has been a soap opera for the whole world to see based on the culture. You know what I mean? The getting rid of John Gruden, the Henry Ruggs incident. You know what I mean? Now you have Nate Hobbs. There's last year it was Josh Jacobs with the DUI. It always seems like these kind of players are having problems on the Raiders or gravitating to the Raiders. And I think that the Raiders could actually potentially be a really, really good team. But I need to see a culture change, because a lot of this stuff is allowed to happen. Like, coach is going to let Hobbs play this week, which I think is insane. So who would you like to see be the next head coach of the Vegas Raiders moving on that could potentially maybe change this culture? Because a lot of times I believe when this kind of culture happens, it translates onto the field. Poor habits turn into poor play. What do you think?
I 100% agree. Like I said, I think one thing about Mark Davis is he'll go out and spend the money. I think Rich Bisaccia has done a great job while he's been there. Keeping the wheels on for, like you said, this has been like a season like no other. I personally, like I said this a couple months ago, I think Jim Harbaugh makes a lot of sense.
I said that today too.
He's got Raider ties. He was an assistant coach. I think he's a disciplinarian. I'd like to see an established guy like that come in. I know they've talked about Dabo Sweeney and some college guys. I don't think bringing in a college guy where he's basically about to learn the NFL and kind of start all over. I'd like to have an established guy like Harbaugh come in who has a history of winning. I mean, he turned the 49ers around in just a couple of years and led them to the Super Bowl. And like you said, there's pieces here. I mean, it's not like the cupboard is empty.
Raiders have players, man.
Here. Yeah, there's pieces on both sides.
Players, yeah.
I mean, offensively, you got one of the best tight ends. The line is still a work in progress, but, like I said, we got to give these young guys a chance to kind of grow together. This is really their first year together. You got a rookie starting, a couple of guys that weren't expecting to play that much that, been forced into starting roles. So we'll see how that goes. The receivers are getting better. I said it's an exciting time for Las Vegas. This is like their first real shot at any type of playoff game, in the 2 years that they've been here now. So it's basically a playoff game in week 18. So we'll see how it goes.
It's going to be an electric atmosphere. The electricity that was in the building game 1 is going to be that same electricity that's going to be in the building on Sunday Night Football. And I cannot wait to see how it all plays out. I think that the Raiders, while I'm taking the Chargers to win maybe a 1 or 2 point game, I think the Raiders may have a shot with Carlson can kick the ball from here to Idaho.
Exactly.
I could see him making a last-ditch 55-yard field goal to send the Raiders to the playoffs. And I tell you what, if that happens, the game is changed. Kansas City's eyebrows start to raise. The game has changed because it's hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. It's very difficult.
I see the Raiders. I see Carlson coming out, kicking one, and the Raiders walking off 27-24.
I like it. I like it a lot. I'm going to take that same score, but I'm going to flip it. I think the Chargers' firepower will just be too much for The secondary, I think guys like Mike Williams will show up big in this game. Keenan Allen underneath is really good, and I think the X factor will be Austin Eckler. He's just a pain in the neck. He's just one of those players that's just annoying. He's just like a little gnat that always seems to find his way through the line and into the end zone, and I think Justin Herbert shines here. So either way, I think a team like Kansas City is going to have to end up beating one of these teams again, and it won't be easy. I think either one of these teams getting in the playoffs can win a playoff game. And I think that if it happens for the Raiders, I think Derrick Carr is basically, you might as well put him in the Ring of Honor now. He's not going anywhere. So that's all we got for today, man. We want to thank you for coming on. Appreciate you coming on. I'll be trying to get you on for a while, talk about Vegas, and I can't think of a better opportunity for to do so than now, especially with them being in this playoff game. 27-24, Rob Cervantes. Raiders, 27-24, L.A., Dexter Reed. Everybody enjoy the games this weekend. Rob, thanks again for coming on. Guys, let's give him a round of applause. We look forward to having you on again, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, talk soon. Thanks
You're
again.
welcome, man.
Go
You
Raiders.
take care. All right, you guys, you heard it there first. I think that's going to be one of the best games this week. I really do. It's going to be fantastic.
That's what the NFL's all about. Sunday night football, playing you're in.
This is it. Winning, you're in, and everybody will know what the seedings are for everybody else. It will all be decided. All you have to do is go out there and win. You're at home versus a team that, in my mind, is fraudulent at times. You know what, man? I'm going to flip. I'm going to flip here because I got no love for the Chargers. I'm going to flip, and I'm going to say 27-24 Raiders. I think that I just see that same home field atmosphere that they had week one. I just see it. I see it happening, and I see them finding a way to get it done. Darren Waller will be out there. I think they get this game done.
It doesn't get more Raiders than play to get in last week at home. It's just
this is it. Raiders gonna Raider, man.
I know.
All right, before we go, we got to go over my picks for the week. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs, the Dallas Cowboys, the Ravens, the Browns, the Washington football team, the Minnesota Vikings, the Texans is my upset special, the Colts, the Packers, the Bills, the Saints, the Rams. I'm going to make the Rams my best bet. I think they take San Francisco down and keep them out of the playoffs. The Patriots, the Seahawks in an upset special 2.0, and I'm flipping and taking the Raiders. Ladies and gentlemen, we're everywhere on social media like we mentioned before. Don't play yourself by not knowing where we're at. You can find us everywhere, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Like and subscribe at grabit.com. It is free. Free. Once again, we thank you for watching, supporting us the way you have.
And make sure it
On behalf of Grab It TV, my man Spencer the Wiz to my right, you have been watching the most comprehensive, uncensored, and progressive television show to hit the big screen this season. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching World of Matchups. Take it easy, everybody. Enjoy week number 18.